Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve. And as I know, many of us are very disappointed on the outcome of yesterday's off-year election, we do have some very good news coming out of a couple of what many thought were solidly blue states. It's true. They're actually calling it a political earthquake. CBS is reporting that once again, the state of New York saw nothing less than a GOP red wave wash over the regions. There were a number of GOP flips that are leaving the Democrats absolutely shell-shocked today. The Republicans officially took over Long Island. Ed Romaine won the coveted Suffolk County executive race in a landslide. It wasn't even close. He flipped the county executive seat from blue to red. And as a result, the GOP now occupies all the countywide seats in Nassau and Suffolk counties, both county executive seats, the DA seat, the district attorney, and the comptroller's office, as well as 4 congressional seats. Now, what happened in New York yesterday is actually a bit of a repeat of what happened in the 2022 midterms, when every single seat from Long Island officially went Republican. The GOP swept the Long Island elections, flipping their 2 blue seats red. It was an incredible red wave in New York. And Lee Zeldin, of course, the gubernatorial candidate back then, he did better than any Republican gubernatorial candidate did in decades since George Pataki, who ended up becoming a presidential contender. So ironically, the Democrats had their own state like New York to blame for the Republicans retaking control of Congress. So New York is slowly but surely turning red, 2 elections in a row. Now, let's revisit Virginia. We talked about the disappointing results in Virginia in our first video this morning. Well, upon analysis, as it turns out, despite falling short of the majority, Republicans in Virginia actually did very, very well yesterday. Check this out. Republicans actually won every single Trump seat, every district where Trump won, and they won every single district that had voted for Biden up to +9. In other words, Democrats were successful only in districts that voted for Biden +10 or more. Now, unfortunately, given the demographic changes in particularly Northern Virginia, that's a lot of districts. But the GOP did a great job beginning to peel away at districts that were single-digit Democrat advantages. And that's exactly what we've been seeing with the California GOP of late. Precisely because of what's called the SoCal ballot harvesting strategy, Republicans in California have been winning consistently in Democrat +4 districts. They did it in 2020. They did it again in 2022. So we're seeing, ironically, blue state Republicans learning to adapt effectively to their adverse conditions and overcome them at the district level. Getting back to Virginia, look, this is why redistricting matters. The Democrats in Virginia reconfigured the electoral map so as to make it extremely hard for the GOP to win a majority. But ironically, all the GOP needed were 2 or 3 +10 Democrat districts, and they would be the majority right now. So kudos to the Virginia Republican Party. Given the obstacles they faced, they did very, very well. The key here is that if Republicans take the strategies employed in blue states like New York, Virginia, and California and apply them nationally, they will win 2024 in an absolute landslide, total blowout. And I'm going to show you exactly the secret of how New York Republicans did it. And speaking of secrets, did you know that you and I actually have access to the very same secret insider trading information that Nancy Pelosi has? It's true. You and I can actually get access to the same insider trading information that's used by BlackRock and other corporations to bribe our crooked politicians in D.C. But now we get to gain the same advantage for ourselves. Gang, that's why you've got to click on the link below and sign up for a free training with me and my good friend Ross Givens. It's this Thursday, November 9th at 3 p.m. Eastern. Ross is an insider trading genius. He's an expert whose recommendations have led to investment returns of over 200%. Some of his highs nearly 1,500%. It's going to be an amazing free training where you can learn how to trade with the exact same insider knowledge as these politicians, but totally legally and ethically. But don't wait. Seating registration is limited, so click on that link below right now and register today, and I'll see you for an event that promises to change your life. There is something we might call the New York model for winning elections, and it's relatively easy. First and foremost, all the candidates focus on the issue of rising crime and the need to restore law and order. Now, this is huge. The Tough on Crime campaign is actually winning all over the world. It's not just here in the States. In places like El Salvador, for example, where President Nayib Bukele is enjoying a 90% approval rating because of his crackdown on illegal gang activity and crime. The chaos at the southern border, the insanity of illegal immigrants inside New York City who are taking over nearly 50% of all hotel capacity, the rise in violent crime, all of this is causing the GOP law and order candidates to surge. So that's the first ingredient in the secret sauce of flipping blue districts red. It's the crime, stupid, in other words. But secondly, we're seeing these New York Republicans effectively flipping immigrants. So in South Brooklyn, for example, ethnic Russians and Asians are going more and more Republican, and they're ousting incumbents who had held office for decades. Back in the 2022 midterms in Southeast Brooklyn, one of the most ethnically diverse areas of the country, voters toppled 3 long-term incumbent Democrat state assembly members and replaced them all with Republicans, something that would have just been absolutely unimaginable a couple of years ago. Now, the key to winning immigrants, interestingly enough, is to focus on crime and the promotion of traditional values. Immigrants, by and large, want nothing to do with woke neo-Marxism. So this is the neo-traditionalist dynamic we always talk about playing out in real time. And the key to winning in blue states like New York is to tie wokeness together with the rising crime rates. And that combination of tying together wokeness and rising crime rates is flipping urban populations. So there you go. If we can combine voter turnout strategies, particularly ballot harvesting strategies, with a law and order anti-woke campaign across the nation, it looks like we've found the recipe for a 2024 blowout in the making.
Hey gang, I know what it's like to feel alone out there in these turbulent times, but I broke free. If you too have been looking for a community with like-minded patriots who are serious about resisting globalism, building a parallel economy, and having intelligent and deep fellowship on a regular basis, then you've come to the right place. In my Courageous Patriot Insiders community, we're building a close-knit movement of, by, and for patriots who are breaking free from the outrage and despair cycles of the mainstream media and taking on the fight against globalism. Every week, I deep dive into the content I can't share on big tech and give you the cliff notes on the truth of how patriots just like you are building up their communities, starting patriot businesses, and fighting the woke in both public and private. All with a few history and political lessons from yours truly, of course. If you want to stop feeling alone as a patriot and stand together with this fast-growing community, be sure to click on the link in the description below. Don't wait. Join me and my Patriot Coalition today, and let's get fighting.